replacing the tire on my Ducati 696, which of course might not be the same case for you because I converted my 696 to a single-sided swing arm. So in this case, this might be applicable for any other Ducatis with single-sided swing arms in the lineup of Ducati. What I'm going to be doing is just to removing the tire. This is the part where it's so easy to remove a tire as opposed to having, you know, swing arms on both sides of the wheel. So what you're going to need is some sort of like socket that can remove this big nut on the wheel. In my case, I have safety wire because I have put some safety wire just to keep everything in place, and I wanted to show my son how to do it. So I put some in here, and then a breaker bar so you can get it loose, as well as yeah, just removing the tire and of course the tire. I'm going to be replacing the tire myself using a Nomar tire machine, so you can also see the process. And I'm also going to be balancing the tire, which at this point the previous owner did the beats because I think I can hear him on the inside when I'm moving the tire. But I'm going to be just traditional, you know, weights, and I'll put them, I guess, over inside of the wheel where it's not super noticeable. But you know, I think that's it. So let's just start with the process, and hopefully this is a productive and useful video for you. This is just so you can see why I'm changing the tire. You know, the thread seems pretty okay, but if you look in the middle, the you know, tire is dry rotted. So I'm removing the safety wire, which I can do later if you guys are interested in knowing how to do it. Remove the safety wire, perfect. And now I'm just gonna put this out, so we have that. I know it's easier if we do it, you know, when it's on the ground. So what I'm going to do is just to use a screwdriver. So I put some stretch into the tire, and then in addition to that, I'm going to put the transmission, or I can just simply just put it on the ground. Okay. It's free. Okay. This comes off. Put it in here. This guy's in here too, so they have. And now I can take off the wheel. So easy, so easy. And here we are, 110 degrees outside. It was hot. So we're just now getting ready to position the tire on the machine, and we're going to start by removing the air from the tire, and then I'm going to go ahead and start breaking the bead. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is to break the bead. I already deflated the tire, so it's a little bit more smooshy. So I'm now going to apply pressure. Okay, that broke the bead there. You can tell that that was easier. And I'm gonna do one more spot on this side, distribute it on the bottom. Bead's broken. Hey, don't go back to the place. There you go. And let's do it one more time. Okay, so bead has been broken. Now I'm actually gonna turn it over. Now I'm going to do the same process here. So the bead is broken on both sides, and the tire is like super separated from the wheel. That way it's gonna make it so much easier. Man, that bead's been there for a while. It helps that this wheel is super lightweight. Okay. Breaking the bead, and I think this is the perfect spot. Perfect. Now I have a space in this area, and this is what's going to be holding the tire at the bottom. So I'm going to put the tire there, and also on this one, try to position the lip there, and I'm going to be doing the same here. These two keep the wheel from moving as much as possible. And there you have it. These are the bits we're talking about. So if you hear someone saying that they balance the wheels with beat, that's what they're talking about. You can see how they're constantly moving, balancing the wheel in real time. Do this. All right, so in case you were wondering what I was doing, you know, when I was playing with the wheel, just kind of getting them connected on the lips, these Delrin pieces, they go against the wheel, and then this one will allow you to kind of lock the wheel in place. Okay, so you see the movement there, and then that's how you kind of fix the wheel in place to avoid, you know, any movement of the wheel while you're working on it. It's not every day that I get a chance to clean on the inside of the wheel, so I'm just gonna make sure that the wheel is clean and prepped before, so I can put the new tire. And here I am applying some of that grease that I'm going to be using to ensure the tire goes in without problem, not only on the process when we're installing the tire, but this grease actually is going to help me to get the tire seated on the bead whenever I'm putting air once I get to install the tire. And no, this is not car grease. This is just the lubricant that Nomar actually includes, so that you can make your solution and you can also use it directly on the wheel. Hearing what people describe as gunshots, so 2 of them, and that means that the actual bead is actually sitting into the actual wheel. So let's go ahead and put some pressure on it, and let's do it. It's moving. Okay, there's one. Whoa. Actually, yeah. Only area missing is this one right here, so we're waiting for one section of the bead to see. There you go. Awesome. All right, so now it's seated all the way around, so now it's a matter of the amount of air this tire needs. 6 pounds per pound. Now you can tell it's fully seated all the way around, and now I'm gonna go ahead and balance the wheel. So at this point, I'm going to be cleaning the inside of the wheel so I have a clean surface to stick my weight. If you have never seen me doing this before, essentially I'm going to be turning slightly the wheel, and when the wheel stops, what that's revealing is that the heaviest point is going to be at the bottom and the lightest point is going to be at the top. The lightest point is where I'm going to be placing my weight, and then I'm going to give it a quarter turn. If the wheel barely moves, like you see here, it means that the wheel, it doesn't have any more weight. If you do the quarter turn and the wheel goes to the bottom, it means that you have too much weight. And if it goes to the opposite side, it goes back up again, that it means that it needs more weight. So I'm super happy with how the balancing came out, so I'm just ready to install the wheel. All right, so with the tire installed and balanced, now I'm just gonna lubricate a little bit the pins. Doesn't have to be a lot, just a tiny bit. And I'm going to do the same right here where the wheel is resting. And you should also be adding a little bit of like grease. Like, if I'm not mistaken, the proper grease is the axle grease, if I'm not mistaken, like for cars. And they call for, you know, lubing the pins as well as the thread. Perfect. All right, so one thing that I forgot to do, which I want to do now, is to clean the thread. So once again, threads are clean. I'm going to put a smear of grease. And the same based on what I read on the note as well. Supposedly very important stuff. Okay. I can tell right now it has the grease, so it's a little bit heavier, but I tried it without the grease and it just went in like so easy, which makes me think that, you know, cleaning the threads was actually the right decision.
What is it?
Last thing I want to do is just to install this, which is supposed to prevent the knot from moving because it kind of gets into one of these channels. So what I want to do is just to cut a piece of wire, and then I'm going to run this wire through here and here. And by doing this, I'm ensuring that this thing is not gonna go anywhere. So if you never used this before, this is a pretty cheap one, but you know, does the job anyway. Actually gonna make this a little bit tighter. Perfect. Let's try one more time. I'll do it like this. Might be better if I put it like this. Okay. So now that I have it like this, I'm just gonna pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it. Oops. Keep pulling. And now I can show it to you. Now you have a safety wire that's here, ensuring this is not gonna come apart. It's actually gonna stay here. Unless I want to by cutting this. Okay. Let me pull this. In case you haven't seen this before, you know, this bike, you know, has an angel and a devil. That devil and these indicators, if I'm not mistaken, they go way between 500 and 600 miles when the actual tire, you know, it's outside of the initial period where, you know, the bike is still kind of being scrubbed and whatnot. It's completely okay to take your tire to a bike shop, motorcycle shop, your local cycle gear, whatnot. If you have been watching my channel for a while, you know why I did it. In the past, I had people mistreating my wheels and practically no scratches, and they will bring me back a complete disaster of a wheel, and then no one wants to be responsible for it. So that's when everything kind of ticked for me. And then the second time that something like this happened that made me think, you know what, I want to do it myself. It was when I went to a cycle gear. I love cycle gear, but I went to a cycle gear and I needed a new tire for a weekend ride. And I called on a Friday and they told me that I needed to leave the tire with them. And there was potentially the chances of waiting a week before they could actually change the tire. So I did this all in a day. I am no mechanic, and a store like that should be well equipped, especially if you're serving a population of people who are kind of going out and just going for a ride and whatnot. You want to serve them, and this is a hobby for me, but it's a method of transportation for a lot of people. So you know, not having a tire that works and not having a place to take it in a pinch so you can get it changed and replaced, doesn't compute to me. But anyhow, long story short, It's possible. Sometimes comes easier. Sometimes, you know, the material of the tire makes it super easy. Sometimes it kind of tire is harder to kind of put on and whatnot. It happens. But so at the end of the day, I have the satisfaction that I did it. And hopefully you took away something from the video, even if it's not just the simple matter of kind of being entertained by someone else's kind of doing stuff. So anyhow, if you have questions, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you with anything, if there's anything that I can help you with. Otherwise, thank you for watching this video, and I hope that you're staying safe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Last thing that I was gonna mention is, unless you're scrubbing tires because you're going to the track, you might put a new track tire and go to the track and then you scrub it at the track, and you can heat it up going through it, take it through a couple cycles, and your tire is gonna be good to go. This is not the same. So these tires, the manufacturer normally calls for about 100 miles before the tire you can completely lean on it. You're gonna come across people that say, oh, it doesn't matter to me, like I just like put it on brand new, and I went to the mountains and I went to the canyons and I was just leaning and sliding my knee, blah blah blah. It is possible. I'm not saying that's not true. I've done it, but you shouldn't. So you should really pay attention to what the manufacturer is saying, just making sure that your air pressure is in the right place, and after you ride it, you kind of take a quick look at it, make sure that everything seems to be okay. But more importantly is those oils and that everything is just gonna come out, and it has to be scrubbed before you can really get the full potential of the tire. So long story short, be safe. Give it about maybe 100 miles and before you actually lean super hard on it, unless you're riding on the track and you can scrub them quite easily. But if you're on the street, chances are you're probably not gonna be able to do it like that, especially if you're not leaning constantly while commuting to work. So just be aware of that. Be safe.